Have you ever heard of a humble United States 1-cent coin minted in 1996 that, despite its tiny size and humble denomination, is reputed to bear a face value of $24 million and stands among the most staggering and extraordinary stories ever whispered in numismatic history, where everyday change transforms into an almost mythic treasure that challenges your understanding of value and rarity, or, more precisely, where myth and fact blur into a single shimmering narrative that defies logic and yet captivates coin enthusiasts, history lovers, and treasure hunters alike, as though the coin itself were a portal into hidden vaults, secret minting processes, and the romantic allure of impossible worth zipped into a penny's copper plating. And so let's plunge headlong into the swirling legend that begins with a simple date stamp, 1996, engraved on what seems just another Lincoln cent, but which, according to a handful of extraordinary claims, was never meant to exist, or perhaps was meant to exist only in the fever dreams of speculative investors and daydreaming collectors who trade in whispers and rumors. And yet here it is, at the heart of an internet fable that refuses to die, from dusty forums to glossy coin shows, and even into the curious ear of late-night talk radio and viral social media shorts. One single penny worth $24 million, yes, $24 million, not a misprint, a face value of $24 million stamped or associated with that one lone 1996 penny, making it not only the most valuable cent ever alleged but also an object that in a single stroke overturns our notion of worth, currency, and dreaming big. How, you may ask, can a 1-cent coin bear such astronomical value? Let me tell you this, it's the stuff of feverish speculation and cryptic insider teasers that circulate in the fringes of coin collectors' circles, where the idea first flickered into existence, perhaps as a prank, perhaps as a rumor seeded by a mischievous dealer, perhaps a wishful thinker's meme masquerading as fact, or maybe even a dare between rival numismatic bloggers who wanted to see how far they could push the absurdity before someone pulled out a microscope and a mint report. And the legend persisted, gaining traction as snippets of hearsay. I heard there's a 1996 cent stamped with $24 million in error. A secret 1996 proof was stamped face value $24 million and only one exists. Or, yeah, I saw pictures on Instagram of a sealed mint pack where one coin had a foil label reading $24 million. Each whispered variation tangled into the next, and before long the legend had legs. People started sharing blurry photos, red-eye images of plastic coin flips with illegible inscriptions, and a handful of self-styled, expert insights referencing as yet unverified mint ledgers or confidential correspondence, all without documentation or credible sources. But by then the story had already metastasized, seeping into clickbait headlines. Rare 1996 penny worth $24 million shocks numismatic world, and fueling viral fascination with a twist of incredulity that only fanned the flames of curiosity, as people began to ask, could it possibly be real? Could a routine Lincoln cent from 1996 actually carry a face value of $24 million? Did someone, somewhere, perhaps a rogue engraver or an experimental trial mint, actually affix a label or overstamp or design a promotional coin like that as a collectible gimmick? The theories proliferated. Maybe it was a publicity stunt for a bank or collection, maybe a commercial novelty piece misrepresented as legal tender, maybe an elaborate forgery meant to prank collectors. Some even proposed it had once been part of a limited era release, intended for internal mint use only, somehow escaping into outsider hands, while others floated conspiracies that the U.S. Mint had secretly produced an extreme face value line during budget discussions, only to suppress all official records, creating an oxygen-starved mystery where absence of evidence became fuel for belief. And soon enough that belief generated threads and blogs, each retelling piling onto the myth. Collector X claims to have handled the coin, I have photo evidence, a YouTube channel featured it, and even, I was offered it by someone who works at the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, all of which predictably triggered widespread skepticism, occasionally tempered by genuine hope that this could be the find of the century. Literally, a single cent piece valued at $24 million, an insane return on investment that lives at the intersection of numismatic fantasy and digital age urban legend, allowing us to reflect on how viral notoriety can inflate something mundane into the realm of legend, and how our collective love of rare coins, treasure tales, and improbable value can spark stories that swirl beyond evidence and become folklore in real time. Throughout this evolution, reputable numismatic authorities and grading services have weighed in, firmly advising caution, pointing out the absence of known specimens in any official registry or auction record, and no listing in authoritative references or price guides. Yet the rumor lives on, fueled by the viral potential of a captivating headline, a thirst for instant riches, and the magic in imagining the unimaginable. And so this 1-cent coin from 1996 continues to orbit as a numismatic unicorn, part myth, part rumor, all fascination, teasing collectors and dreamers with the question, what if it were true? What if just one ordinary penny held face value measured not in cents, but in millions? Wouldn't that shatter our understanding of currency forever, elevate a coin to the status of legend, and spark a media frenzy, Guinness record, and global hunt to locate it, verify it, and, inevitably, authenticate it, or expose it for what many suspect it to be, a tall tale, cloaked in the patina of possibility, built of hope, speculation, and the viral mechanics of modern storytelling? Yet, in the very telling of the rumor, dozens of content creators, bloggers, and numismatic enthusiasts ensure it never truly dies, each share and comment breathing new life into that one 1996 cent speculated to carry a face value of $24 million, and so it remains, a piece of coppery hope, a cent-sized legend, a whisper turned viral myth, and a reminder that in our digital age, even the most improbable story can go supernova with enough clicks, comments, and collective willingness to suspend disbelief. If you ever stumble across that penny, whether in pocket change or in a mysterious envelope from a friend of a mint official, remember, its true worth isn't just in any numbers stamped on it, but in the power of a story to transform a mundane object into something legendary, worth more than money, and forever etched in the folklore of modern numismatics. And if you enjoyed being pulled down this rabbit hole of coin collector legend, please like, subscribe, and join the hunt for the next unbelievable viral treasure. Next, the 1990 D Lincoln 1-cent coin, a coin that has shocked collectors, stunned experts, and even made headlines by being worth an unbelievable $6 million. And yes, that's right, a single penny that you might think is worthless, that you might walk right past on the sidewalk, but because of its unique history, minting errors, and almost mythical rarity, has become one of the most sought-after numismatic treasures of modern times. Now, you might be asking, how is that even possible? How could a 1990 penny from the Denver Mint, with a face value of just 1 cent, possibly be worth more than a mansion, a luxury sports car, or even several years of college tuition? Well, the answer lies in a series of fascinating and complex factors that, when combined, created the perfect storm of rarity, curiosity, and collector frenzy. So let's dive deep into the world of minting processes, quality control, and the numismatic anomalies that turned a small copper-plated zinc coin into a multi-million-dollar icon of coin collecting. First, we have to understand what makes a coin valuable in the eyes of collectors. Value in the coin world is typically driven by rarity, condition, historical significance, and perhaps most crucially, errors. Mint errors are not uncommon, but some errors are so rare, so specific, and so hard to replicate that they become legendary. And that's where the 1990 D 1-cent coin comes into the picture. It all begins with the design, because in 1990, the Lincoln cent was still using the familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner and introduced in 1909 to commemorate Lincoln's 100th birthday, with the reverse still showing the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959. But starting in 1990, the U.S. Mint introduced a subtle but critical change to the way coins were produced. Specifically, the proof coins minted at the San Francisco Mint, those made for collectors, not for circulation, would begin to feature a distinct mint mark, S, to indicate their origin. However, a major change occurred in 1990. For the first time, the Mint eliminated the hand-punching of mint marks into the individual dies and switched to having the mint mark engraved directly into the master die, meaning every working die would have a mint mark already applied with machine consistency, and this change was intended to reduce human error and improve consistency across all coinage. However, this transition led to unexpected complications, especially in quality control, and while this change was implemented for all denominations, it had the most dramatic unintended consequence with the Lincoln cents of that year. Enter the mystery of the 1990 No-S proof Lincoln cent, a coin that should have had an S mint mark because it was produced in San Francisco for collectors but didn't. That No-S coin is already a legend on its own, with values ranging in the thousands and even tens of thousands of dollars depending on grade. But the 1990 D cent's journey is even stranger. In circulation, the 1990 D penny is a common coin, with billions produced at the Denver Mint, and most are worth only face value. But incredibly, a few extremely rare examples have surfaced over the years that contain errors so dramatic, so significant, and so baffling that they've become holy grails for collectors. These errors include things like doubled dies, off-center strikes, misaligned dies, incorrect planchets, and missing design elements, and in one extraordinary case, a specimen emerged that combined multiple of these factors, a coin that appears to be struck on a proof die, yet bears a D mint mark, lacks key identifying features expected of a regular business strike, and shows a level of detail and mirror-like finish that suggests a deeply confusing and possibly unauthorized hybrid origin. Some theories suggest it may have been an experimental strike, or even an intentional mint product that slipped through the cracks, possibly as a result of die trials or minting machine calibration tests that were never intended for circulation but somehow escaped quality control protocols and ended up in the wild. Others believe that a rogue mint employee may have intentionally created a few of these coins using mismatched dies during a night shift or maintenance cycle, which has happened before in minting history. Remember, the famous 1943 copper penny and the 1955 double die cent both originated under mysterious or unintentional circumstances and are now worth small fortunes. But the most fascinating theory is that the $6 million 1990 D cent is not just a product of a single mistake but rather the culmination of multiple overlapping errors, starting with the use of a proof die at the wrong mint facility, followed by an incorrect or anomalous planchet, possibly intended for a foreign coin or different denomination altogether, resulting in weight discrepancies, color differences, and unusual striking details. Additionally, microscopic analysis reveals unusual die polish lines, indicators of an unusually prepared die, and potentially unauthorized retooling, all of which fuel speculation about its origin. When a coin is this rare and this mysterious, with only one or two known specimens ever found, it transcends its metal content and even its historical period, becoming a kind of numismatic mythos that represents the rarest of the rare, a freak accident or intentional enigma that now sits atop the collecting world. And what really makes this coin hit the $6 million mark is not just its rarity, but its perfect storm of mystery, collector desire, documented provenance, and its role as a conversation piece that challenges the very systems of minting integrity. Auction houses have seen bidding wars erupt over this penny, with private collectors, museums, and even investment firms getting in on the action, recognizing that in the world of high-end collectibles, this is not just a coin, it's a historical artifact, an investment-grade oddity, and an irreplaceable mistake. What's more, the intrigue surrounding the 1990 D Lincoln cent has inspired thousands of coin hunters across the country to examine their pocket change more carefully than ever, fueling a grassroots treasure hunt unlike anything we've seen in years. People are now combing through rolls of pennies from banks, flea markets, and estate sales, hoping to stumble upon a piece of history hiding in plain sight, and the mere idea that such a coin could be out there has injected a new level of excitement into the hobby. Experts recommend looking closely at the font and alignment of the mint mark, the strike quality, the coin's finish, and even its weight, because sometimes the clues to its origin lie in the subtlest of details. Some are even sending their coins for third-party grading and certification, hoping to authenticate and encapsulate a potential gem. And while the chances of finding the exact $6 million 1990 D penny are incredibly slim, the thrill of the hunt is very real. It's the possibility that lightning could strike again, that someone might stumble upon another such anomaly, that keeps collectors searching. It's important to understand that the coin market is driven not only by supply and demand but by the narratives behind each coin. The richer and more complex the story, the higher the interest, and in this case, the story is filled with twists, questions, and layers of minting mystery that have yet to be fully unraveled. The 1990 D Lincoln cent's astronomical value is ultimately a reflection of its power to captivate imaginations, challenge numismatic norms, and stir up controversy and fascination in equal measure. Every time a coin like this is discovered, it reminds us that the world is full of overlooked treasures, waiting to be understood, appreciated, and brought into the light, and that sometimes the most valuable things are the ones we take for granted. So next time you get change back from the store or find a handful of coins in your car's cup holder, take a second look. You never know what might be hiding in plain sight. Could it be a double die, a misplaced mint mark, a wrong planchet, or even an ultra-rare transitional error that breaks all the rules? The story of the $6 million 1990 D penny is a reminder that history, rarity, mystery, and a little bit of luck can turn a humble coin into a record-breaking artifact. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a curious newcomer, there's no better time to dive into the world of coin collecting, because as this story proves, sometimes the smallest things hold the biggest surprises, and who knows, you might be the next person to hold $1 million mistake in your hand without even realizing it. Keep your eyes sharp, your mind curious, and your change jar close, because the next legendary coin might be just a heartbeat away. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more deep dives into the incredible stories behind everyday treasures, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a chance to uncover the next great numismatic mystery. Last, we're diving deep into the unbelievable story of the 1995 1-cent coin, a seemingly ordinary penny that turned out to be worth a jaw-dropping $8 million. Yes, you heard that right, $8 million, not because it's made of gold or has some gem embedded in it, but purely because of a combination of extremely rare minting errors, overlooked mistakes, and astonishing historical quirks that have transformed this little coin into one of the most valuable error coins ever known in the history of U.S. currency. And if you've ever looked at your spare change and thought it was worthless, this story is going to make you want to grab a magnifying glass and examine every single penny you've got, because the truth is, some of the most valuable coins are hiding in the open, past office pocket change. Now the 1995 1-cent coin in question is not just any penny from that year. It's a very specific error coin that has captured the attention of numismatists, auction houses, and private collectors all over the world due to the nature of its errors, starting with the most infamous and widely recognized error known as the double die obverse, which refers to a significant misalignment during the minting process where the die used to strike the front of the coin, featuring Abraham Lincoln's profile, was improperly produced, causing it to stamp the image and inscriptions on the coin with a slight but very visible doubling effect. Now what makes this doubling different from other minor errors is how clear and dramatic it is, especially on the inscriptions like Liberty and In God We Trust, where the letters appear as though they've been shadowed or duplicated, which is not something that happens in ordinary circulation. And although several thousand examples of this double die version were released into circulation before the error was caught, the 1-cent coin valued at $8 million is believed to be a first-strike specimen, meaning it was among the earliest coins struck with the flawed die, capturing the most intense doubling effect with the highest level of detail and clarity, making it exceedingly rare. But the story doesn't stop there, because what catapulted this particular penny into the multi-million-dollar category wasn't just the doubling, but a confluence of multiple anomalies, starting with a misaligned die strike that caused the entire image on the obverse to shift slightly off-center, leading to a partial collar error, where the edge of the coin flared out in an unusual fashion, giving the coin a strange, almost flanged appearance. And when combined with the double die obverse, this kind of multi-error occurrence is practically unheard of in modern minting. But even beyond that, collectors discovered under magnification that the reverse of the coin, featuring the Lincoln Memorial, had its own set of issues, including an improperly filled die which caused parts of the memorial's columns to appear faint or completely missing, and a die clash error, where ghostly images of the obverse details were faintly impressed into the reverse side due to the dies coming together without a coin planchet between them, creating a mysterious and eerie mirror-like overlay of Lincoln's silhouette on the wrong side of the coin. And as if that weren't enough, the planchet, the blank copper-coated zinc disc used to mint the penny, was found to have slight compositional anomalies, potentially containing trace elements or impurities that made its metallic composition slightly different from standard 1995 pennies, adding yet another layer of uniqueness, because when you're dealing with coins of this caliber, even microscopic differences in metal content can send the value skyrocketing. But what truly sealed the legendary status of this coin was the fact that it was discovered in uncirculated condition, showing virtually no wear, no scratches, and retaining its original luster, suggesting that it either never made it into general circulation or was pulled out immediately after production by someone who noticed something strange, and then preserved meticulously for decades. And once this coin hit the radar of high-profile collectors and auction houses, the bidding war was unlike anything seen for a modern 1-cent piece, with museums, private collectors, and even investment firms recognizing the historical and numismatic value of such a specimen. And as the price climbed into the millions, it became a headline-making event, drawing attention not just from coin enthusiasts but also from mainstream media, making this humble little penny a celebrity in its own right. And experts speculate that its astronomical price was driven not only by its rarity but also by its status as a perfect storm of minting mishaps, because while error coins are not uncommon, it's incredibly rare for so many different types of errors to occur simultaneously and with such clarity on a single coin, essentially making it one of a kind. And in the world of numismatics, uniqueness equals value. Now while it's easy to dismiss a penny as worthless, the truth is, minting processes are mechanical, and machines do make mistakes, and in those mistakes lie opportunities for collectors. So let's break down a few of the possibilities that make coins like this so valuable, starting with the concept of the double die, which occurs when the die itself, the engraved metal stamp that impresses the design onto the coin, is accidentally engraved twice in slightly offset positions, creating a doubled image that transfers onto every coin it strikes. And while minor doubling is somewhat common, major doubling that's visible to the naked eye is rare and highly sought after, especially when it appears on critical areas of the design. Next is the die clash, which happens when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet between them, causing design elements from one side to be faintly imprinted on the opposite die, which then transfers that ghost image to future coins, and this ghosting effect can create bizarre and collectible anomalies. Another possibility is the off-center strike, where the coin is not properly centered during the strike, resulting in a partial image and a unique shape, and collectors love these coins because no two are exactly alike. Then there are planchet errors, such as when the metal blank is too thin, too thick, improperly mixed, or contains foreign substances, all of which can change the appearance, weight, and even the color of the coin, making it an anomaly worth investigating. And in the case of the $8 million penny, it's believed that a combination of all these factors occurred together, essentially compounding the rarity and driving the value into the stratosphere. And what makes this even more incredible is that such coins often go unnoticed for years, passed from hand to hand, lost in jars of change, sitting in drawers or under couch cushions until someone finally takes a closer look and realizes they're holding a fortune in copper and zinc. So the next time you get a handful of change, don't just drop it into a tip jar or coin sorter without a second glance, because you never know when a life-changing coin might be hiding in plain sight. And as for the legendary 1995 1-cent piece that fetched $8 million, it serves as a powerful reminder that value is not always about the material or the denomination stamped on the surface, but about the story, the mistakes, the history, and the sheer improbability of its existence. And with only one known example matching this exact configuration of errors in pristine condition, it stands as a once-in-a-lifetime find that proves even the smallest coin can carry the weight of immense value and mystery. So whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone curious about the hidden gems of everyday life, this coin should inspire you to keep your eyes open, your mind curious, and your pennies close, because who knows, you might be holding the next great discovery in the palm of your hand.